Welcome back, everybody. We're getting ready to jump into our last game of the day now. It's going to be Bulgaria taking on Slovakia.
Yeah, this one should be interesting. I'm not too sure really what to expect. They're in slightly different points, I guess, in terms of their groups right now. For Slovakia, I like the region a lot. I feel like it has a lot to give. A lot of kind of, especially when we look at the kind of the open circuit, a lot of the tier 2 teams are kind of from this region. For Bulgaria, same for them. A lot of talent that has come through. However, in this instance, I'm not really too sure what to expect. For both these two sides, they're actually in a position where they can still fight for playoffs, which is the great thing. They're still in and around that sort of top 3. It's just a case of, can they get wins here? Bulgaria didn't have maybe a fantastic start to the day. They were the first game concluded of the day, and they lost 13-9 to Ukraine. So my hope is that they can sort of bounce back off the back of that. And then they also lost 13-9 towards France, which isn't easy. Safe to say, going 0-2 down to start the groups makes life very difficult to try and qualify towards playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, France, I look at as, again, another favorite when we look at the teams. I don't know how I've not mentioned them so far during this event because that's an absolutely stacked roster. But for these two teams, it's interesting because both of them kind of coming with two very established players and then some more unknown elements, which it can often be the case when you kind of have to dilute your kind of pool of players to a specific country, right? Because a lot of these countries would normally be pairing up with sort of some of their neighbors or going to international mixes. So, you know, we look at Hellrose, for instance, in Bulgaria's team. In fact, we can just bring up Bulgaria's lineup because that's where we'll start. Hellrose, I guess, is the first player I want to talk about because she has such a long history in Counter-Strike. Basically, since the days gone by, we're talking over a decade of experience playing Counter-Strike in the professional capacity. Haven't seen her as much, I suppose, in the last couple of years. We've seen her play in a few teams that have kind of played in qualifiers and again for the national squads, but the experience she brings is massive. And then I guess the other big name on this team that jumps out is obviously Jonana, right? So most recently we saw her with Let Her Cook and that deep run. We saw her teammate Melly play earlier, and Joanna was a massive figurehead of that team on that run at ESL Impact. And she's just been a very consistent player within the ESL Impact circuit for the last 2.5 years, and is obviously a big factor in this team's success. On the other side, two very big names again when we bring it up. Sorry, no, I lied. Well, I'll keep you in suspense. What do you think about Bulgaria, Neo?
Yeah, I think there's hope for this team. I got to cast her on a few times in the past, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think she has one of the most unorthodox sitting positions, foot on the desk, right? Yeah, yes, it's kind of rogue, but it works. I remember the first few times I cast it, I genuinely was like, this is trolling. But I think probably people thought the same thing when they saw JDM leaning all the way back.
Doesn't do it on LAN. Doesn't do it on LAN. We had that question answered.
That's what I was going to ask. Yeah. Okay, doesn't do it on LAN. So it's just the comfort of the home. Slovakia on the other side. So for Bulgaria, they've gone 0-2 to start off the day. Slovakia are 1-1. They lost to Czech Republic 13-5, which, you know, a little bit unfortunate, but they did beat Ukraine, Slovakia 13-6. And since Ukraine beat Bulgaria, on paper, the mindset, if you put 2 and 2 together, would say Slovakia be the favourites here. But what are your thoughts? I mean, obviously, there's a couple of names in particular, Kat being one of them. But where do you see the success coming forward for the Slovakian side?
Yeah, I mean, Kat is the obvious one that jumps out, and I think everyone will be very familiar with her and her time on Imperial. But Zia is in my books, the absolute star in the server with both these teams. She is an incredible player and so young. I think she's only 18 years old, right, currently with Spirit, and she has just been phenomenal, just such a consistent player, and I think a lot of teams have had their eye on her as a potential pickup at different points. Like, she's just one of those young talents that can really do a lot of damage in the server. So I think when you combine her with Kat, it's kind of like a few of the other teams where you just have two insanely heavy hitters. Now, that didn't work for Portugal earlier, right? Where I said that I thought D7 and Zana reuniting was going to be ridiculous. But here, I think Zia is just such a world-class AWPer and has just really just continued to grow as a player. And sorry, with ENCE, which is with now, was on Spirit before that. So she's always been kind of this real hot target to pick up for different squads. So I'm excited to see her play with them.
Yeah, well, there we go. Let's take a look at the veto. We've had quite a bit of Ancient today. And we might get some more of the same as we will. All but one game today, Lucy, have been Ancient. It's just best of one territory. In a weird way, it's sort of expected.
Yeah, I guess so. And again, I guess when you look at the stars of this team, when you look at Zia, you look at Cat, Ancient, again, Imperial, playground for them. And it was a pretty popular map for Enterthena, even if they had mixed success on it. And they're always pretty decent. So yeah, I think I actually feel that Bulgaria might have been more beneficial for them to take it to Dust 2. I actually probably would have preferred that for them. I think that's probably a more suitable map. They decided to go Ancient, so that's obviously where they've been doing their prep on and feel the most comfortable, but we'll see if that comes back to haunt them.
Yeah, okay. Ancient, again, we've seen a variety of different Ancients as well. The opening game of the day, Denmark-Sweden, was strategically quite heavy. Both of these sides really reading into each other quite a lot. Then, of course, we saw a previous game, which was just Romania just absolutely running through Iceland. So what game are we going to get? I always ask this, of course, before coming in. Lucy, where are you leaning? Who's your favorite?
I think this one's going to be pretty messy as well. I think that's the style of Counter-Strike that I would expect from Bulgaria at the very least. I having watched Cat and Zia play quite a lot, it might not be as crazy like that, but we'll see. Cat will certainly know what Joanna likes to bring to the table. And Zia takes the first contact. She's gotten one and looking for a follow-up as Cat does find her kill as well. There is space on to A if they want to go there, but the problem is it was a split and the bomb is lost in middle, so Zia can lock it down. That's a good start. More Slovakia.
One left. What do you even do here? In a 1v4, 1 minute 20 to try and decide behind that smoke. No bomb either. This does feel like a bit of a done affair. We'll see, though. In towards mid. Deleted by Cap. With the Slovakia start so strong. Only the one casualty is, well, absolutely zero complaints from us in that one. Beautiful work. Super simple. They plug in towards elbow, and the fights just go their way. It's as simple as that. They win out their 50-50 duels, and I think this might even be, with those early doors, a bit of a sign of things to come. Slovakia played off each other quite well. The individuals look crisp. So, for 1-0 start, no real buy to work with here for Bulgaria. A couple of pistols, a little bit of util. 3 nades, maybe a bit of a nade stack or something of the sort, but even getting a bomb plan out here would be big.
I thought they were going to nade stack over the middle, and I thought that could be interesting. Go for Cave instead. The P2K gets involved. Cat gets a double. That one's over very quickly. Yeah, I imagine the way Slovakia will approach this game plan is going to be setting Cat and Zia up. I imagine Zia is going to be the real pivotal piece because as an AWPer normally, she's just kind of given free reign to do what she wants. Cat's obviously going to have positions where she's a bit more comfortable, and we look at kind of the way Imperial play as a team. She's not necessarily the kind of point woman for the squad, often more the closer, but I wonder if we'll see her a bit more involved. She is going to be playing on that B bomb site, so she'll definitely get a taste of the action there.
Swinging in towards Cave. The AK will get the first. Oh, how has the MP9 not even got a single kill? The M4 will get both with ease. So did most of the work there, Zia, but crazy just even get away with 1 kill. So much damage. In her stats, Joanna sneaking in the back lines. Is she going to be checked? No. I think she's probably might even individually win this round.
Yeah, timings have been a massive part of the success of Let Her Cook, and Joanna on this push has done exactly that, and that's a massive double for Ivana. So Bontu planted, Cat's heroics, that double kill in Cave, not going to be enough. I don't think, unless Mafia can get something done, but Hellrose on the off angle. It's a little messy, but she does get the job done. So Bulgaria will get on the board.
Good first found. Joanna found a gap in via Red Room all the way around, but it's actually the fight towards Ramp, which basically do it. I'm still so surprised that Zia doesn't even get away with 1 there. First put on the board for Bulgaria. If they can start chaining a few together early doors, maybe we can see a little bit of a competitive starting towards this one. It didn't start well with the pistol and the force, but that's much better. Now full gun rounds across both ways. This is probably the best litmus test of a round that we've got to see who really is going to be the one to take precedent towards this? Out by the smoke in towards Shell. Joanna is being spammed a bit, but avoid all the damage this time. The CT side look for both, but get traded.
Here, well, find her kill in mid. It's a little messy, but there's support, and it's even trades for a moment, but there's always that extra Slovakian player ready to close. Again, the fights look good for a moment for Bulgaria, and if Zia hadn't been able to convert that incredibly long spray onto Joanna, you could just see the edge of her around that corner, it could have gotten out of hand. But Savannah gets this kill, and with the pressure over the top in the middle, there could have been a way back into this for the T side. Not going to be. Lucky answer back immediately, but Bulgaria already. Orb comes out for Joanna. Now, we didn't get to see her use that in Let Her Cook because Astra was on the team, but she is quite known for her orbing. The amount of times on Astralis.
Well, let's see. Not a good swing for the CT side as Joanna's orb rattles off for that first with ease. Bit of damage being dealt, but nothing too problematic. Now we'll post up, but the smoke blocking the view. So the brakes have to be pumped for a second. Goes back into the 4 versus 4. Hellrose's going to get caught as well. So for Slovakia, in this sort of position, it's workable. It's a bit of a weird buy for Bulgaria. A lot of onus on this orb to get super active. And if they can't, could be problematic because the rifle is tagged down low too.
Good timing on the smoke. We'll keep the T's at bay. Very passive setup, but Cat has some good lines. A big issue for the T is that lack of a smoke, so they can't isolate any of these angles. Which means Cat's going to have plenty of fights, as long as she can avoid that AWP. This complete pause from Bulgaria is going to have them scratching their heads as to where this is going, but Cat spotting out 2 players is going to get the information that allows a swing from the MP7. Cat readjusts for another, and Zia arrives on the rotation. Joanna, Killers has. Bomb tapped, seeing if Cat will swing, and she will, but the timing of it is not in favor of Joanna. So Slovakia will take the round. Orb recovered. A 3-round lead.
Yeah, this is decent. I mean, that was that sort of half investment, well, a full investment, but really only half scary with a few pistols that had to come to the table, and they just make sure they utilize the trades off the back of each other. They have the HP advantage, they have the rifles advantage, and it works for them. And it's unfortunate. Joanna had a couple of nice shots with the AWP, to be fair, but not enough to net them the round or a bomb plant or give them that chance. Slovakia, with that 4-1 lead, probably should be made a 5th in a second too. Won't be too bad. That's a running dink though, so I can get behind that. P250 struggling, but the Tech 9's got a double. Okay, round on.
Yeah, getting a little overeager on the fight, so able to find the space. Zia has to fall back, doesn't want to get overwhelmed. That AWP regroups with the rest of the team. Hellrose's position can be potent if she can establish this crossfire with these Tech 9 players. They managed to pick up a single rifle. Not sure where the other one's gone to, because they had to run past both dead players. So who knows where that ended up. And it looks like Slovakia are going to call it off. The money's not really there, and the weaponry they have, it's not worth losing. So, oh, they lose one of them too. Whereas this PT50 does find success, and there's no reason not to keep running. Tech 9s can do further damage, and M4 picked up. He'd love just to hold on to these 2 weapons, and it doesn't look like they're going to be allowed. Salty Fatty gets a couple on her way out. That's a huge round for Bulgaria to win.
Yeah, they had no right winning that as well. Fair play. Double swinging towards mid. The Tech 9s get super active. They find their openers simple and effective, and they just overwhelm it. And sometimes the best way to play these sort of rounds is just to fall back on your fundamentals, just to go back to a simpler call. Let's rush, let's take fights, and they do. Nice work, in all fairness, and that's one that really could, again, make the difference for Slovakia. Unfortunately, their buy is going to be a little bit awkward here. They've got 1 rifle to fall off. A lot of work has to be done here for Maffy. Wiki going to play up close. Shadow will betray. Smoke comes down at the very least. Playing behind this it's difficult. If you can go 2 for 1 here, maybe you have a chance.
Thought maybe they're going to pop through it instead. They're going to try and blow it open, but it doesn't quite hit the mark, and so that is a free one for Murphy. Now the rotations are there. There's even a push in towards elbow. The T's are completely separated, but B has been conceded. So bomb planted. Hellrose has taken deep control. HE guaranteed to pick one up, and in fact, the bullet gets it done. He's doubled up. So it looks like, despite it getting a little out of hand over at A, this reroute to B should be okay for Bulgaria. They do have a kit, so it's not impossible, but Hellrose is really locking out this rifle and preventing Matthew from getting involved. A run onto the side is good for one. That's a really nice shot. 1v1, but the time's just not there to support it.
Yeah. Honestly, the positive thing as well for Bulgaria is not only finding that round, but just make sure the AWP stays alive. When you're on FL, I felt for a second that maybe it might slip out of their grasp, but thankfully they run back in time. Hellrose, good work. The Utah and the fighting behind it. There was a brief moment where that felt a little worrying. Thankfully, it wasn't to be. And we're now only at a one-round game. Bulgaria making this competitive. They didn't start that way, but this is okay for now. And again, because that was a force buy for Slovakia, it just doesn't leave them with a hell of a lot to work with. This one, similar towards that last one, they've only got that one M4 to work with. I'm not too sure. I'm expecting wonders here. And it just showcases again just how good at times Bulgaria have been in terms of their individuals. Really, really clean Counter-Strike being played.
All you have to do is not stumble over this one saved M4, and it has found a kill. Imagine, actually, the big issue here is there's a stack on B. So it still could get a little scary. Incendiary, gonna isolate one player. It's a 1-for-1, and it's another one with the PT50. Oh, not like this. Hellrose will get one back, but it costs her a little bit in her health. She's just bringing the bomb all by herself. Needs that support of Joan Anna. Just trying to plant the bomb. Gets off it as they try and overwhelm. Joan Anna hits her shot, but being run down. And so onto this AWP. She hits the shot. Joan Anna clutching it out. A 1v2 at the tail end. That one almost getting out of hand.
That is absolutely ridiculous. You're right. Very nearly slipped away, but that's miraculous at the tail end. With the AWP looking clean as hell. And Bulgaria going to make this game all the more interesting. Tied up now as well. 1v3 will give her to a degree, or I guess a 2v3 turn 1v2 turn conversion for Bulgaria. That was a low buy, so I guess we can take it with a pinch of salt. Slovakia back into the investment. Does require a FAMAS. Not a hell of a lot of util as well to work with either. Prioritizing firepower maybe. But look at this sneak already. Hellrose in the back lines and gets a freebie. That's beautiful.
They're just walking in, aren't they? That's been the approach on this T side, and well, can't blame them. It is working. Majority of the gun rounds have gone their way. Well, one of those rounds was with Tech 9, to be fair. It's already going to be a save. This is just a player walking in on each side of the server and finding that opener. I don't know how Hellrose gets that far up B, sorry, before she even gets a fight. That's crazy. So, Bulgaria on a rampant streak right now, and for the Slovakian side, I really wouldn't mind a pause. With 3 staying alive, you can actually buy back in normally. You know, kind of put on the brakes. You can drop back over. You can go back into a buy, and it's fine. And of course, they got a little bit of loss bonus to work with. But I really would like Slovakia just take a pause, make sure it doesn't just completely slip away from them. Because if it does, before they know it, they could have this Bulgarian side taking a strong lead on this T side, go in towards the CT, and it be more than enough to really close things down. We kind of saw in our basically the majority of the ancient games we've seen so far today how important building up real good foundations on that T side is. So far, Bulgaria doing exactly that. We really do need to see a little bit of a change up. 3 staying alive, so they should drop over, should be fine. And a reinvestment with, honestly, probably even a little bit more util, in all fairness, this time. I'm not too sure still if I have faith at the moment. Slovakia, they're struggling. And it's the similar thing that we've been speaking about. Even that small thing of, on both sides of the map, they're just walking out on towards the side. They're not even pot flashing for each other. Bulgaria, no, they get so much mileage for free. Yeah, it's good to see that philosophy that Joanna brought to Let Her Cook is continuing. I imagine she's the brains at play for this squad. In fact, I can just look at the the thing. No, okay,
sure.
Hellrose is actually calling for this, so
All right.
fair enough. Argentina does have a vocal role in the team, though. The swing out almost lines up too. If he just about lives through that one, and his elevated angle is perfect. That flashbang sent from the tees actually helps her out. So this time, just contacting through mid and A, not going to work out. Unless Nana has something to say about it. 1 versus 4. She is ahead of this utility. Her position known as a beautiful little flash swing from Matthew. Holds down A.
Slovakia needed that. They did. That'll help. Absolutely. Get it to a 6-all at the end of this half. It feels okay. It feels even enough where there's nothing really to worry about. If Bulgaria take a lead, that's the thing where I get maybe a little bit concerned. I feel like 6-all is a bit of a handshake. Still, Slovakia far from done in this one. If they are able to find a 6th here as well with denying Bulgaria a bomb plant, then potentially we're onto something too where the money gets broken for the T side and Slovakia might even just steal the 7th too. He comes over, doesn't do enough damage. They do cross towards Shelf and a lot done to Salty Pathy. Will just get out of there.
4 AKs on this CT side is also crazy, courtesy of that previous round. Bulgarian squad takes point and pushes into Donut. This is going to catch Matthew off guard, surely. It's going to peek straight into AWP. Still gets the kill before she goes down, but there's joint aggression everywhere on the map. And again, Bulgaria, when they hit hard and fast. That's a kill back, though. It's certainly not out of the realms of possibility. Money's pretty decent if they want to give this a go. Niska can get past this first player in Ivana. Oh, that adjustment. That's enough. So we have Cat, a master in the clutch. It's a double up in Donut. The AWP on the line. A smoke lands forward onto that bomb. And they're just tapping it, not committing to it. A whiff shot. But Niska misses hers. Cat doesn't miss either of hers, though. And that will be the defuse. And that will be the round.
That's massive. That is a big one to be taken. Slovakia, it looked for a second like they might have even lost it as well. And that is a ridiculous way in which they've made that work. Brilliant, brilliant stuff. And Slovakia will be taking a 6 with a guarantee at the minimum that we see a tied game. But honestly, for Slovakia, I think for me, it's more about just recovery. They had a period where things were not looking good at all. They've now brought it back to an okay favor. I've also had a message from the GO, Ted, the man who knows everything about Bulgarian Counter-Strike. And he has said that Hellrose and Joanna are calling together. So they're both calling, basically.
Yeah, that's what
they're both very vocal. Yeah, exactly.
I that.
Had the confirmation.
All right. Joanna fast on the opener. Hellrose by her sides. Falls to Zia. Cat wants to get more. Almost the double. The flashbang kind of affects everybody there. But the advantage is for Slovakia for a moment. Kill with the MAC-10. And now, take a look at middle, because that might be the key part of this. Wiki manages to get out. And Ivana has walked through Red Room. She's going to find 2 backs turned, and she might just be able to end the round. If she catches the right timing. Oh, look at that. The Galil, though, not the weapon you necessarily want for the job. Bomb picked up. Was worried for a second she was going to walk up the ramp, but now Zia's in hot pursuit. Kit, rifle, and every single piece of utility she could hope for. Do not counter out.
Yeah, it's a foot race. One in which she'll lose the site itself, but she might slip the net. Honestly, going towards Donut here would have been huge. She's going to wrap all the way around. The big risk, though, the way that Bulgaria were playing was just the fact that Donut was so exposed that if she had gotten towards Donut early, she could have caught them on the rotation across. Not to be Zia, might not be expected. The shadow now betraying the MAC-10 swinging and finding 6-all at the half. Like I said, that's a bit of a handshake. There was a very strong pair for Slovakia at the start of this map. The majority of the gun runs felt very good for Bulgaria, and then at the tail end, just a couple put on the board. The CT side for Slovakia, it started well, maybe not as much towards the mid to late part. So I think, again, for me, on this T side, I need to see a pistol come through from Slovakia just to keep them into a chance. I feel at the moment that momentum's slightly leaning in favor of Bulgaria.
Yeah, I think Slovakia letting a few of these rounds slip. Again, comes back to the veto and the decision to go to Ancient. About let her cooks run at ESL Impact, and Ancient was 90% of the maps they played, it felt like. So Jornana is no stranger to taking space and getting it done on this map. A hit into the B bomb site. However, is forced out, but forced to put her bullets through their brains. Cat will get one, but that's all it's going to be. Hellrose was forced out of the fire and straight into the firing line, but it doesn't matter. Her trigger sets her up for kills on everybody, and it's Cat that has to clutch up. She's getting the gushes, getting the kills, getting run down by Jornana. Pistol for Bulgaria.
Okay. Bulgaria, that's big. Taking that probably means a second off the back of it as well, where there just isn't the money to work with for Slovakia. They didn't get a bomb down. You potentially could force it if you really wanted to. Go in towards Tech 9s and half armor, a few bits of Utah and the rest. I don't really think it's worth it. I'd rather have a buy-in towards the next with the AKs, which it seems like is going to be the case. A double flash, one smoke, and a few minimal upgrades, but nothing too drastic over towards Slovakia. Bulgaria, starting the half well like that might really give them that strong spell. We spoke about how the guns was just so positive for the Bulgarian roster, and it might be more of the same. I like this. Double stack up close. One playing at range with the FAMAS. Jornana, and this MP9 could rip in all fairness. The smoke will come down instead, so choice to fight behind. Don't have to over-fight here. Nade could do a lot of the damage with a flash of the Butte.
Yes, Funny's run down there, and Joanna gets hit by the Glock, so they have actually managed to get their way in. Bomb planted. Hellrose with the XM. I don't know if that's the weapon you want. Oh, it runs out of bullets, and she swaps to the pistol, actually bailed out by her teammate. But that Molotov causing some issues. FAMAS in the hands of Maffy. She's been playing a great game so far. And with such little HP on Hellrose, this is doable, but she needed to win that first duel. The pistols burst into B, and they almost get it done.
Close but no cigar. I'm glad to see an XM kill, even if it was just one, but, you know, it's got a bit of range to it when it gets going, but you are right. Bailed out by the MP9. Honestly, getting a bomb plant out of that is really not too bad. The only real investments they've gone for is that double flash and smoke to give them the site itself, and it's worked. The pop flash over is beautiful. The smoke behind, simple. It still isn't around. So 8-6, 2-round lead for Bulgaria. And with a couple of kills coming through as well, a little bit of a reinvestment back in for that CT side, but realistically, mostly a bonus buy for the CT side. Slovakia's full buy. They lose the bonus of Bulgaria, though. They could be really in a lot of trouble.
Nice HE to punish Jornana, but from long range, she's the one that connects the shot, and she gets away with 2 HP. So barely living through it, and she's taken down Cat. That's a massive kill. And Hellrose decides to push the issue a little bit. Costs her life, but one back. Zia, a double kill for her. I'm waiting for this aggression in middle. There's 2 Ts lying in wait. They managed to split the defenders up. Wiki goes back to spawn. That's going to allow these players to move out of Donut. She can still be an issue. There's definitely a well where Slovakia can make their way back into it. That smoke. She's ahead of it. The flame, she's pushing forward. Can't quite win the fight. She wins that one. There was a well where Jornana could have capitalized on that chaos. Good for one, but with such little HP, the trade was inevitable.
Yeah, never going to happen. 1-round game now. And we are starting to have a bit of a discussion. This is good. 8-7. And no real buy for Bulgaria. So this round, the scoreline should be tied absolutely right back up. And this is more akin to what we saw in towards our first series of the game of the day with that Denmark-Sweden game. They're playing off each other quite well. They're reading it and trying to counter-strat on the fly, and it's working. And a lot of this comes down to the experienced players. They're calling quite well in the mid to late rounds to find these gaps that are working. Just pistols here. Not expecting anything too drastic, but opening triple kill. Surely we're not about to be ecoed, are we? Thankfully, Cass can get 2.
Okay. Oh, 25 HP. At least it was left to Cat and Zia in that 2-on-4, but good golly. That one, that's a little too close for comfort if you're Slovakia. You're thinking, oh dear, shouldn't have gotten that position. That could have serious repercussions as the game goes on. If he's going to be reduced to a Mach 10. Jordana gets out the AWP. Saw her wielding out on the T side quite a lot. And Zia doesn't have hers on the other side. She actually could have afforded one, so opted not to.
So, it's a piece, but an opening kill, and a pretty important one as well, because you find that kill, yes, they give it a damage, but you dip away. Don't overfight. You don't have to stick around for that potential of a second. It now means you can play off each other on towards the side itself. Cap, looking for this frag. Don't need to peek if you're Bulgaria. The AWP. Oh, had a chance. Missed it, though. Now a known quantity towards backside. And the Molotov going to make Joanna's life a little bit more awkward.
Salty Patty's bullets don't hit their targets, but Cat does. Gets her revenge. Ivani took down Zia earlier, and they're going to reach through middle. Ivani in the open. Can't do it. Cat, who just bursts through. That's going to leave an MP9 in the hands of Wiki to hold onto this site. Smoke forward, and she does get one. Can't get the follow-up. Now, Jordana did get the lurk. So there's certainly a Wells. Bulgaria can bring this one back. Jordana's AWP takes control of Donuts. They know that's not a position they have to worry about. Now, she does have the kit. She does have the smoke. Need to get themselves a kill to find their way in. This could be it. The timing eludes Jordana. If she just held that line for a second longer, might have been gifted that jiggle. Instead, Hellrose left in a very difficult spot, but first kill is hers. And oh, that one almost gets out of hand. Maffey should have been punished on that reposition, but just able to stick the landing mid-jump and swivel to get that kill.
Some of these rounds are getting way too close for comfort. It's kind of the type of Counter-Strike that we do like to see at times. It's so chaotic, so hard to predict. And that was pretty damn close at the end. They line up for a second, but it's just that slight lead. And this is now where things get really concerning for Bulgaria. Most likely going to have to give up double digits towards Slovakia. They're 3 rounds away from seeing off the map and 2 rounds ahead. So they've got that buffer zone to work with. It's an important stance they've put themselves into. And time is dwindling. This next gun round out from Bulgaria in round number 19 feels like it might even be make or break.
Walking into the stack. He's not seeing anything. The P2K almost gets 2. And now you just leave. Yeah, this is the exact right play. You have that lurker as well. Cat, known for her very good lurking on Imperial, has gotten them all the space on B, and she'll be ahead of this rotation, so she can cut them off, and she'll definitely be hearing them moving very quickly. Important that she wins this fight. Okay, she does. Okay, that could have gotten out of hand if Anna was on the angle and Kat was just sort of standing on a bit of a funky off angle, but able to get her a double. Stefani's PT50, low HP. Not going to get too much done. PT50? No, yeah, PT50. Maybe she can pick up one of these rifles.
It's not impossible, but she's just so low. And not dead, so never mind. It is impossible. Down she goes. 10-8. Now into double digits. Put in place for Slovakia. 3 rounds away and inching ever closer now. And as I was saying a little bit earlier, just this gun round for me really does feel make or break for Bulgaria. Lose this one and Slovakia can go all the way up to match point, and at that point the pressure alone might be enough to see off that last round. This is the one that really feels like it has to lock itself into place, or if they lose an opening couple of fights, Bulgaria maybe shell up a little bit and see if they can keep some rifles alive and AWP alive and drop in towards the next, just to give them more chances of making things stick. Slovakia are so close now. We had a little bit of a lackluster first half at times. This is considerably better, which much cleaner. They're only given a couple of rounds over towards Bulgaria so far.
But 2 rounds did come down to a 1-on-1, so
True.
This could have easily been on the other foot. Lack of money for Bulgaria, but the opening kill is theirs. And a follow-up as well. So the slower paced default from Slovakia hasn't worked out well for them as they've lost full control. The bomb is alone. Cat. Okay, it's Cat of all players. It's there alone because she's able to recover it. Now, it might just be onto her. The 1 versus 3. I believe Stefani has heard this full rotation. Good kill from Cat. Does cost her a lot of health. 1 versus 2. Fana and Joanna. This is the gap in Red Room. She's kind of hoping she can find a kill and put it into a one-on-one. With the positions that these two players are playing, even if she gets to a bomb site, it's going to be hard to root them out with the time she has, unless she catches this timing. This is her best chance to win the round. If she gets this kill, that's the way in. Molotov will at least allow her to plant the bomb. The rotation will be fast in this AWP, and in fact, might not even be allowed into the post plant. Doesn't even put it down. Joanna denies. Bulgaria make it a 1-round game.
Yeah, beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff. I think it was just too much to do, not enough time, and not enough Utah. A smoke might have allowed Cat to make something out of that last round, but not to be in the end. It started well, and they just made sure that they were gifted preferential fights, not over facing as well. Even in that 1 versus 2, you're over towards main, you're not over fighting, you know Cat's on site, but you're more than happy to wait for this rotation to come through from Donut. So 1-round game, and money broken over towards Slovakia, so should be tied up here. I mean, I can't really expect all too much. Things go super, super south in this one. I really can't see a way in which Slovakia take it. A bomb plant would be nice. We saw them with the double flash and smoke combo that they were able to get a plant on, a few kills, make it maybe a little bit closer than expected. But this one feels a little too outlandish. They've had attack pause. They've had a conversation about how they're going to try and do something most likely into the next round. I don't expect too much of a strat coming towards this. They've got a bit of util, small upgrades on the pistols too. A bomb plant would really be lovely.
And the B is looking like the likely outcome. Hellrose running down with her XM. And this has worked out perfectly. They're going to get themselves free space onto B. So bomb, you think to be planted, although Vanna does try and get ahead of it. Can't quite deny HE is going to do a lot of damage. And she gets caught off as well. Oh, not like this. This would be the worst way to go. You've gifted Cat, of all players, in M4. Janana spots 1 on the jiggle. She has to pause. Coming with the orb from that position. You don't envy her. Cat, blinded. Perfect flash. That's the way back in. And Joanna wins out hers with the USP. So it could have got out of hand, but dealing with Cat was everything.
There was a moment, wasn't there? The flash is a stunner, though, and really just nullifies any threat in that one. But again, a bomb plant is really all they're kind of looking for in that situation, and that's what they'll get. The round would have been incredible if they were to take it, but they just can't compete firepower-wise. In the end, Bulgaria will be the ones to tie this game up. 10-all. We got a bit of distance, a bit of mileage in this game here, which it still could absolutely swing anyway. Slovakia reinvest back in. They've got the AKs out on deck. They've got the util. They haven't got the funds in the long term. So you lose this round here, Bulgaria can probably even lock in match point. It's as close as that. Wind in the sails for the Bulgarian roster. The nade comes over and does a hell of a lot of damage.
Yeah, that was a solid HE. Crunchy is how I like to describe them. Ivana's kill, traded by Zia. Anna wants to get involved. HE again over the top, but it's the bullets of Ivana who finds another Hellrose is pushed. Pushed out A main. Oh, misses her chance though. Afi gets hers, and it's very uncomfortable for Slovakia. There's a lack of space. If they can just pause, just take a moment, they can find their way back out of this. But they have to get past Stefani. Cat, you imagine she'll be thorough and clearer, but there's 2 angles. Had to pick one, and it's not the right one. Stefani, the only player on this side of the site, is able to get the kill. Afi gets hers. Low HP. 1v2.
That HP, surely not to be. I mean, they are they are isolated. Noise made. This is done. Hellrose will get this one. Surely? Yes, from Wilt. See enough. There was a moment, a brief moment where it could have gone south, but it doesn't. 11-10. The most important thing being not only the round itself, but just the way in which they find it. No bomb bomb for Slovakia means that Bulgaria more or less get gifted a 12. Sadly, there will be a tech pause though before we get towards that round that probably gives Bulgaria the 12. But either way, these are really nice rounds being put together on the CT side. Very, very comfortable Counter-Strike being played where they're getting these opportunities to multi-frag. And it's just something that Slovakia can't seem to compete with. They can't seem to find the gaps in that CT side defense. And it's becoming really costly and they don't really have much time anymore. They basically have one gun round left and that's probably to play for overtime.
Yeah, Bulgaria's responses in the mid rounds have been really good, just in terms of the rotations and those decision making. Like Hellray is pushing there when all that contact comes through and build. Yeah, she doesn't find success, but she makes it so uncomfortable for Slovakia. Forces them to take their time. Allows Varney to set up a position that's guaranteed one, but that she gets a double there is everything. So we'll have everyone back in the server. Slovakia are going to play for overtime.
Yeah, this is, it's a big call, but to a degree, I can kind of understand it. Just even if they were to force, it would have been a really dicey force. I guess they're hoping that they can just go back to back on gun rounds. Maybe percentage wise, they might have a better chance, but it is a big call. And depending on the IGL is the debate there. Hellrose spots some information, drops a smoke, just falls away, doesn't need to fight.
Should be easy enough to clean up, and it will be. All support is there. Tell you what, been impressed by what Hellrose has been showing in the server because, you know, it's been a minute since we've kind of seen her playing, you know, in team-based Counter-Strike. It's been a few different events where she's been in different squads where hasn't been able to get the deep runs, but she's a very storied player. I mentioned, you know, over a decade of playing competitive Counter-Strike, and she's played with just about every player you could name. You know, if there's a top female player, she's probably played with her.
It's pretty sick, and that experience is absolutely paying off in dividends right now. It's match point Bulgaria. A bye to try and stay alive for Slovakia. They need 2 in a row. And Cat's given cave control. That's interesting. Hellrose will fall. So just for singing the praises, gets caught. And there's an open and a numbers advantage.
So Paddy just trying to be distracting, hoping that they push down so that a team can capitalize and take space in cave. That's 2 players on ramp. The reswing comes from Cat. Oh, it's perfection. Salty Paddy has had a bit of a quiet one, but in that round is able to pull the strings of Bulgaria to set up Cat. Rotations. Going to be penned in. The Slovakians in the walls. Wiki. 1v5. There's one. Well, we won't be seeing the 5. So this will be being a full 24-round game now.
Yeah, pretty sick. Deserved as well. We had a 6-all half, and I mean, even a world in which we get another 6-all half, to be fair. Hot Flash will come over. Wiki trying to stay alive and finds the head. Nice shot. Any more would be nice. We're not considering giving this a go, are we? Hang on a moment. Maybe. No. She pulls away. I was going to say, that'd be a wild call to try and go for this. Getting exit frags, though, so making this pretty expensive. In all fairness, that itself is a bit of a silver lining. 3 kills taken at the end. It doesn't make a difference as Slovakia are going to make this a 1-round game. They made the bold choice to play for OT, and it might just be enough as well. It might be the right call. 1 round away now. Get the full 24. Bulgaria, thankfully for them, they have enough funds. They can reinvest back in. They could even potentially get an AWP out maybe as well. I mean, Hellrose has got more than enough money, so yeah, they could. Starting to shine here. Hellrose got caught very early in towards that round, and that was something that potentially cost Bulgaria a bit.
Cat's out here almost reaching for that 30 bump. Should be an impressive sight. just want to go B again. But Bulgaria started with 2 players in A main, so they've managed to get a huge amount of information. And so they're going to be able to greatly reinforce this side of the map. And Slovakia are playing in the dark, so they'll be walking into essentially a stack. Joanna can rotate quickly as well, and as soon as the contact comes, you imagine she'll be very fast on her approach because she's seeing nothing. That flashbang misses. Second one will hit. HE goes forward, does a lot of damage. Ivana run over though, and that flashbang is perfect for the second kill. Joanna does arrive on the rotation and gets her kill. On the edge of the smoke, sees another, can't quite connect, swaps to the AK. Hellrose fast through, trying to run them down, almost the kill. Joanna gets hers, and it's all on Zia, caught in the backlines by Wiki. Bulgaria, they lost the opening kills, but they are run down, and Bulgaria will win it out against Slovakia.
That was a 3v5 as well, as they've just converted. That is incredible. Really, really well done. Hellrose comes through. Joanna does so well getting that first, swaps to the AK, and again, gets that trade. It's a quick flick towards ramp as well. It's not an easy shot to hit, and makes it work. What a victory to be taken for Bulgaria as well. On paper, it felt like Slovakia were the favorites. Bulgaria lost to Ukraine. Slovakia beat them very handedly. Just, you know, if you're at 1+1, it makes you think that Slovakia were the favorites. But that is really well played for Bulgaria. They may have started the day a little slow with an 0-2 down, but finishing with that first win, that could absolutely shake things up, and there's still an absolute chance they can make it out of the groups.
Yeah, that last round, I think, kind of summed it up for Bulgaria. Just being able to respond in that fashion was just really, really cool. The fact that you still have Joanna and you still have Hellrose alive, so you know that when they respond, they're going to be very sharp and snappy. And it's really cool seeing Hellrose. I already mentioned you just playing at this level, but also playing to the style of same Counter-Strike as Joanna's playing, right? I think that last round really exemplified just sort of adapting to that philosophy of going fast, going hard, and just catching them off guard. So really cool stuff. I do think that Slovakia lost the veto. I think that was a big mistake going to Ancient, and I think we saw it here in terms of the type of Counter-Strike Bulgaria brought. It plays really well to this map, and it's one they're incredibly comfortable on.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That is a pretty sick win to be taken. And we've run through some of these highlights as well, and you could just see how back and forth it was all the way through. We were 6-all at the half. It looked like it could be anyone's game, and we got basically the exact same feeling heading into the second. There's these periods, and that was the big thing. But Bulgaria, they felt like the side who, at least for me, off the back of the first half, they won the more gun rounds, the important rounds, and that's what gave them a little bit of the wind in their sails. And thankfully, it's something they kept heading in towards that second half, which then, once again, when the guns come out, they won that pistol, they were able to take a lot of that early control, and things started to slot in towards their play. So for Bulgaria, for me, I'm impressed. Good response. The individuals look good. Hellrose looks very, very solid as a rifle, just anchoring on those CT sites and doing what you kind of need to do. Try and go 2 for 1 more often than not. Get some Utah down, buy time for rotations, simple things like that. And Slovakia just couldn't find a way to break down this defense.
Yeah, I think it really speaks volumes to both Hellrose and Joanna for being able to, bring this level of play with all the players around them, right? Because, there's a lot of players here I'm not, massively familiar with. I think we have some returning faces like Wiki and Ivana from last time around, but, it's not necessarily players that are definitely not playing Counter-Strike full-time, right? So, they've got to come in and to be able to be molded to play such cohesive Counter-Strike in probably a relatively short amount of time is really impressive for Bulgaria. And that's a massive win. They had to win this game, really, because they had those couple of L's. So looking for wins as the group stretches on, it's really important.
Yeah, absolutely. We can just quickly run through a couple of results on the tail end. Seems like Luxembourg have forfeited their game, so it's wins across the board for the likes of Poland. Serbia, nice and simple. Denmark 13-0 against Hungary is pretty dominant. Turkey beat Ukraine 13-5. So there is a world, that group in particular, there's been results going here, there, and everywhere. So it could be a real shake-up in that one. Portugal 13-3 over Croatia, and the last one at the simultaneous time was Sweden beat Norway 13-10. So things are shaking up. It's only day number 1, though. We're going to be right back tomorrow. We've got more best of ones. We've got more group stages to conclude, and that is the big thing. We're concluding tomorrow to see who will be heading off in towards those playoffs. Top 3 from all 4 groups. Simple as that. Top 2 go towards upper bracket. Third place team go towards the lowers. You do not want to miss it. Myself and Lucy will be back tomorrow. We'll see you then.